All right, Sophia. Sophia, where did you grow up? Where are you from originally?
Uh, Here in Southern California,
And tell me about your family growing up. You had mom and dad.
I was raised by grandma. Had aunt and uncle nearby with a lot of cousins.
Where were your parents?
My mother passed when I was very young, and my father was living with his new wife.
Oh, I see. How would you describe your childhood in general?
A caretaker. I try to give a lot to the people around me.
So you're a caregiver,
Yeah, yeah.
but your childhood, how was that? No abuse, no nothing traumatic.
I had a few experiences that required some therapy later on in life.
Hmm.
Yeah.
What kind of kid were you in high school?
A private one. I was homeschooled for most of high school. I graduated from a continuation school.
You graduated and you,
Yeah.
you went on to work.
No work. It's something I had difficulty with.
How old are you now?
I'm 40.
You're 40. And you're living on the streets now.
Yes.
How long have you been living like that?
It's been about 7 years.
Are drugs a part of your life?
There is some drug use, mostly to alleviate symptoms of what I go through.
And how do you support yourself?
How do I score myself?
How do you support yourself?
Support. I get a check every month. I'm registered with a social worker who tries to get me housing.
Mm.
I'm working through the process of getting an apartment
Oh, good. Where were you staying in the meantime?
with a friend.
Have you been on the streets before? Were you just sleeping on the street or in a tent or anything?
Yeah, yeah. That's
It's got to be rough, right?
it is. It can be.
So you're transgender.
That's right.
How long have you been?
7 years.
7 years. Okay. Did you always know that you had this orientation?
No, my whole life I was very feminine, but I didn't understand the concept of being transgender. And when I was in my early 30s, I was talking to a transgender girl, and her opening up to me about her process of transition made it clear to me it was something I wanted to do for myself. And it was a very beautiful experience being able to express myself honestly as a female.
Are you happier this way?
Oh, yes, definitely.
And you feel like you were born this way, or is this something that happened to you in childhood?
Born this way. When I was a child, I had family members correcting me, telling me things like, don't walk that way, you walk like a girl. Don't laugh that way, you laugh like a girl. So
Do you have friends now?
yeah. It's hard to maintain connections with people when living on the street.
What's the hardest part of this lifestyle for you?
Uncertainty. It's hard not having transportation when I need to get to a doctor's appointment, or when I start thinking about possible employment.
Money's got to be hard to come by without a job.
Yeah.
What emotions do you go through? Do you get depressed or angry or anxious?
I distract myself with community improvement. So I tend to do a lot of making other people's lives better as a way of keeping myself busy and distracted.
That's nice. Have you ever been in love before?
Yes, I've been in love.
How did that go? Was it?
It was one of the most beautiful experiences I've ever had.
It's wonderful. If you had your life to live all over again, what would you have done differently?
I would have focused more on working at an early age. That was a major obstacle later on, not having that job history
Yeah,
or
not having a career you could specialize in.
Yeah.
Does your drug use get in the way of that?
No, it hasn't. It hasn't been an issue for me so far.
Mm-hmm. And living on the streets, as you've been for the last 7 years, how has it changed you?
Well, the people have changed over the several years that I've been living on the streets as well.
In what way?
It used to be the community was very soft and warm, and it's gotten kind of scary, kind of violent. People saying mean things to each other.
Do you feel like you're targeted because you're transgender?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you feel misunderstood by most people?
I think some people don't understand what transgender is, or being transgender. I get asked, "Are you a male or a female?" And I'll be wearing a full length dress, and it's a cognitive dissonance there, where I don't really understand their position and they don't really understand mine.
What do you wish people understood so that maybe transgender people could be treated differently?
It's an expression of the self. It's not like dressing up and pretending. It's not that. It's a real experience of self as the opposite gender of what we were born as.
You see yourself as a female. You relate as a female.
Absolutely.
Even though you still may have male genitalia, I'm assuming.
Right.
But that doesn't really matter. It's still, in your eyes, you're a female.
That is correct.
Yeah. It's going to be hard for people to grasp that. Some people.
Well, most of my social interactions don't involve sexual contact, so it's usually not an issue. Mm-hmm. It seems to be more of an issue for the people that are against transgender people.
What's been the worst experience you've had?
I've had repeated abusive behavior coming from some individuals, and it doesn't make sense to me. These people went out of their way to make me feel worse, and I wasn't affecting their life in any way.
It seems terribly unfair because you're all you're looking to do is help others and be kind, but you're being persecuted.
Yeah. It like I say, I don't understand their position, being anti-transgender. They go out of their way to find people to be upset at or upset about, and it has nothing to do with their life. It's not like transgender people are knocking down people's doors to take over their family or things like that.
Yeah, I have a hard time understanding that behavior as well, because you're not a threat to them. I assume it's all from males, right?
Yeah.
It's not like you're a threat to them. You're not going to steal women away from them.
Right.
So they shouldn't be threatened. But I think what's really going on is they are secretly turned on by transgender women.
I've heard that the people who have the most anger or hatred on the surface have underlying issues of attraction.
Right.
Yeah.
No, it's a crazy world we live in. What was your best memory as a child?
I have a Christmas memory that I'm very, very fond of. I was with my mother and my father and my grandmother, and it was my first really big Christmas, and that's a big one for me.
It's nice.
Yeah.
Are you still in contact with the family that your family that raised you? Do you have siblings?
I have 2 brothers, 2 sisters. I don't see them very often. I don't talk to them. I try to make contact once in a while, and they're busy with their lives. I've kind of been separated from my family for a little while.
So you're kind of on your own.
Yeah.
What gives your life meaning?
World improvement. I'm big on seeing people and situations improve. Like I'm just geared towards that. So seeing a person become better than they were is like a huge daily goal of mine.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
What are you afraid of? What do you worry about?
I worry about the state of society. We were headed towards what felt like acceptance towards everyone, and then there was a strong turn somewhere around 2016 where we started behaving differently towards each other.
There's a lot of hatred in the world.
Yeah.
Do you have any regrets in your life?
I regret being pushed past a breaking point, stress-wise. I wanted to be a purer expression of who I am, and I had some problems that kind of cascaded into worse behavior, and that's a regret. That's something I'm still trying to make better.
And Sophia, what would you say is the most important lesson you've learned in your life?
Be good, it matters. Really, society is based on our daily interactions, and if we mistreat each other, it becomes a bigger and bigger problem.
Wonderful. Sophia, thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you.